Okay. Hi guys. I'm Marco Oliveira. This is Andre Cruz.
Hi guys.
You might know us as Sonic Spot and Sadazar. As mentioned, we are the authors of the new Bowel architecture. Andre here is actually the responsible, the main contributor for Bowel right now. So let's get to it. So, what is Bowel? Bowel, okay, it has a fairly simple mission. You can think of it as a NPM for the browser. So it's better suited to just handle all the dependencies you have on your projects on the client side, as NPM is good for the server. So let's talk a little bit of history about Bowel. Bowel was started by these two guys, Jacob Thornton and Alex McCaw. You probably know them for another project. I don't know if anyone has ever heard of it's Twitter Bootstrap. It has been around for 2 years and has currently 69 contributors. And about 4 months ago, we started working heavily on it and basically redesigning the whole internal architecture, as the maintaining the code was starting to get a bit hard. And we pretty much rewrote everything from scratch, maintaining the API and all that, but internally completely different stuff.
Yeah, it was released in 1.0.0.
So if you haven't seen Bowel in a while, it might be a good time to take a look at it again, because really great stuff have happened with it. So let's talk about the common workflow without a package manager. Well, if you're not using a package manager, your workflow might look a little bit something like this. So you have a lot of dependencies that you have in your project. You probably have to, for each one, download that dependency. You have to set a reminder just to, okay, let me check if something changed, have a new version. You have to check if that version is compatible with what you are doing. You have to handle all the differences in the installation, and finally start all over again with other dependencies. And I'm sure most of you will agree, this is not a very practical way of doing things, so we wanted to use another solution. I know lots of people are using it, and fortunately there are other solutions out there, so we're going to talk a bit about the package manager way. As I mentioned, several package managers out there. I won't go into the details of each one, but I will tell about the main differences, the philosophical differences between Bowel and Andam. Okay, you have Component, which is only compatible with CommonJS and requires that package has a component.json file. You have Jam and Volo, which are only compatible with AMD. You have NPM and Browserify. I know a lot of people like to use NPM for this stuff, but there are some problems with using NPM. You can do that technically, but NPM is not really well suited to handle all that stuff in the front end, especially considering that client dependencies are usually flat. So that's not a good thing. It also does not support HTTP and other endpoint types, so if you want to install packages coming from whatever, you probably can't. It's only compatible with CommonJS, and of course there's always the problem of NPM registry pollution. It's kind of ugly, kind of sucks that you have all those modules that are nothing to note. They just work on the browser. So that's where Bowel comes in. We wanted to tame those wild dependencies, not exactly conform and, okay, I can't use this because it is not following some whatever standard. So we have Bowel. Bowel basically has a non-utopic perspective on the web. Let's face it, there are lots of people with lots of personal tastes, and each one likes to do, okay, I'll do this way because I think this is right, I'll do this way because I think it's right, and eventually you get to a point, which we are right now, that it's just too hard to handle all that. So Bowel is actually able to support any type of module. We're talking AMD, CommonJS, Globals, ES6. It has extensive endpoint support, so you can install packages coming from a Git, from HTTP, a local folder, and many others. You can even easily...
It even supports zip files or targ.ez files. So,
exactly.
For instance, if you have a link with which points to a zip file or a targ.ez file, Bowel will extract that for you automatically.
Exactly. And even if there is some obscure stuff that, okay, it is coming from, I don't know, it is coming from my fridge, you can just create your own resolver and get that into Bowel, and that will be supported. It is also very fast, as Andre will show you meanwhile. And big whoop, it has been adopted by some big projects, Jquery, Angular, Ember.js, and Wyoming. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. So what does the Bowel workflow look like? Andre will show you. Okay, let me just get the video there.
Yeah, full screen. Okay, so we have set up a quick video here that basically demonstrates the workflow of creating an empty project using Bowel to actually manage and fetch dependencies for you. So first, we just created the empty folder for the project, just like that. Then we probably will need a DOM manipulation library that basically facilitates the process of DOM manipulation and DOM animation, perhaps. So people usually use Jquery for this kind of stuff. So I will actually install Jquery. Note that I'm installing version 1.9.0 because this project aims to support IE 8 or whatever. So in this case, the version is specified after the hash sign. So Bowel will just look for Jquery in the registry, and basically it will know that it points to that GitHub endpoint, which is that link over there after the cached keyword.
It should be noted that you can just install Jquery. You just prefer to install that specific version for whatever reason.
Yes. Usually in my projects, I need a low-level library that basically makes it easy to manipulate objects, arrays, numbers, and other kind of stuff. I usually use Mout for this. Mout stands for modular utilities, modular utils. Think of it as a modular approach to underscore, for instance. It's very modular. You can pick whatever function you want. You don't have to require all that stuff that you have to do with underscore. So in this case, I will install Mout from the GitHub endpoint just to demonstrate the ability that Bowel has to fetch multiple or different sources or endpoints in this case. So Bowel will just install that. It will look through the tags, and basically, in this case, it will install the latest version. As you see, it's 0.7.1. Afterwards, I will install the Moment.js library. Moment.js is a library that handles dates, the manipulation of dates and the bringing of dates in a beautiful manner, and handles internationalization for you. So in this case, I'm going to install Moment.js by the HTTP link just to demonstrate the ability that Bowel has to fetch links. In this case, I'm using the moment equal sign over there because I want this particular model to be named moment. Otherwise, by default, Bowel will name this model moment.min, which is not very practical. Up next, Marco has been telling me that he's been experimenting with a framework called Spoon.js something, right? Yeah. I don't know exactly the name, so I'm going to use Bowel search to look up on the registry for me. So it actually returned one result, but I'm not yet pretty sure about it, so I'm going to get more information of that particular package with the Bowel info common. So the Bowel info command gives you the manifest file of this particular model. In this case, it's pretty similar to npm, the package.json file. It gives you the name, description, and the most important ones are the dependencies that describes that your project requires in this case. So I'm going to, okay. So up next, I'm going to check more about this project because I'm not sure about how to get started with this framework. It's new for me, so we probably want to check the website or some more resources. And the Bowel home command is actually pretty good at this because it will open the homepage projects directly in your browser, as you will see next. Just like that, similar to npm home command. So I will just install it to get it started with. As you see, all the commands of Bowel are pretty fast, really, really fast. The new architecture really is blazing fast. In this case, as you see, the framework declared a few dependencies. So Bowel ensures that those dependencies are fetched and the versions comply with the other dependencies. In this case, it's fetched address, event emitter, has, Jquery, and mount.
Should be also mentioned that actually address there has 3 other dependencies, and Bowel takes care of all that. Some people sometimes say, yeah, but I really need nested dependencies. You have nested dependencies. Bowel just installs it the way you're used to on NPM and all that. So pretty simple, just it's different in the browser in the way how it is imported.
Yes. All of these commands have been installing these components in the Bowel components folder. And at this time, we're pretty much ready to get started with coding our actual project. So, but before that, you should create a manifest file. The manifest file, as I said before, is just a file that describes your model or your project. And Bowel makes it really easy to create that with the Bowel init command. It just asks you a few questions. It even fills good defaults for those questions. As you see, for instance, the name, the version, the authors. It even knows who I am. Really easy to get going. It asks you right there if I want to add the currently installed dependencies as dependencies of this directly in the Bowel JSON file, which I want. And as you see, Bowel will create this structure for me automatically. As you see, the dependencies over there are listed correctly. Right, the correct versions that I've installed before are there. This is the generated component, Bowel JSON file, sorry. So with this manifest file, each one could just clone these projects and install it easily with just Bowel install. To demonstrate that, I will remove the Bowel components folder and just type Bowel install to actually install all the declared dependencies. Note that I'm actually using here the offline flag, which is a very cool feature about Bowel. If you've ever been in a plane or any situation where your internet was unreliable.
That never happens.
That comes pretty handy, and it's really fast. It fetches from the Bowel's internal cache, so it's really fast. Are you guys ready?
No one blinks.
Just like that.
Yeah.
As you see, a couple of dependencies just in less than a second. There's also the update command, which actually reads the Bowel JSON and checks for new versions for the declared dependencies. Easy. In this case, of course, there's no new dependencies versions. As Marco said before, Bowel supports nested dependency trees, and I'm going to demonstrate that in the Bowel list command. As you see, the dependency tree is drawn with this command, and as you see, Spawn.js has address, and address has event emitter, and all of that is rendered right there in the dependency tree. But how can users register components in the Bowel registry? How can, for instance, any of you guys make it available right for me, for example, to install it? It's really easy. You just have to Bowel registry, register, and the name of the model and the endpoint. I've created an empty project here. I just copy the endpoint and install it. Of course, I'm not going to proceed. I don't want that. It was just for demonstration. And lastly, you can check the help of every command just by typing bar help. Pretty much the same commands that NPM has, bar already has. So,
okay.
That's it.
Cool stuff. Wait, okay.
Back to the demo.
Cool stuff. This is really, really neat, really simple to manage your project like this. Yet, some might say, yeah, but Bowel keeps installing all this stuff that I don't really want. You have to keep in mind that that's ultimately the author's choice. So if Andre here is developing a package and he just doesn't want to conform to whatever standard that I have posted out there in the internet, I have to be able to handle that because his module is really cool and I want to use that. And it kind of sucks that some package managers do not allow me to do that. We have to basically live in the real world and keep in mind that compatibility is really important when it comes to actually get the job done. Yeah. And again, Bowel has a very realistic view on all this. Yet some might say, yeah, but all this stuff is getting deployed and I really don't want it to. Well, again, you probably should have handled it better. You probably need a smarter build stage where you actually remove all that stuff and just deploy what you want. Actually, many components out there already comply with Bowel and other package managers and already provide a pre-built version for you to use. So you can always use that. Still, if there is nothing for you, you can just create your own build stage and take care of that. So what else is there? What's in the roadmap? We want to make Bowel the standard. Again, it has been adopted by some pretty big projects, really cool, really excited about it. We want to allow developers to register full-blown packages, not just register aliases. This aliasing module is really low maintenance, really simple, but does not give us the enough power to actually impose some good practices, and it would be good to provide that to the community. The community has actually started to ask for that. We want to deliver ES6 modules now. That's happening, so let's just start using it. We're currently working on something, actually Ryan Florence is working on something which is Bowel import. The idea there is to basically make whatever module is out there and make it conform with ES6. So Bowel import just picks that package, analyzes it, and enables you to use it as an ES6 module, so all for free.
Even if it's a global or AMD or CommonJS or whatever, that model will make sure that it's importable and usable using the ECMAScript 6 modules.
Yeah. So be sure to Google for Bowel import from Ryan Florence. And finally, we want to simplify the nested dependency tree usage. This is a sort of a hard problem for the browser. You have stuff that rely on globals, for instance, Jquery, and if you have two dependencies that actually depend on different incompatible versions of Jquery, that's kind of hard to handle, and other similar issues. That's something we want to really simplify. Some problems can already be handled, but it's not so simple, so we hope we can solve that. And yeah, so really excited about Bowel. We really are hoping that it becomes the standard to doing all this stuff on the browser, but it all depends on you. We have a huge community, but we want it to be bigger, so go out there, spread the word. Ryan Florence apparently likes Bowel, so just take his word for it. No need for further convincing. Go check the website and learn more about it. Start using it.
Yes. That's all.